All right, so let's name the two elephants in the room. Usually we do this at McCausland, but I'll explain why we're at Webster today. Secondly, yes, when you have to wear a mask and a beard, this is what happens. Not embarrassed, not ashamed, but this is maybe the best look I've ever had. So when I was in student ministry, back when I was in high school and middle school, there was a lot of talk about judgment. Like this big judgment at the end of the world where like good goes to heaven, bad goes to hell, and it felt like really complicated. And the truth is, Jesus didn't spend a lot of time talking about that. But there's one place where Jesus does talk about this like big sorting. It's in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, and he talks about this judge looking over these goats and these sheep. And they're trying to figure out, like, why are we on this side or why are we on that side? And he says some really interesting stuff, this judge. He says, you fed me when I was hungry. You clothed me when I was naked. You visited me when I was in prison. And the sheep on the one side say, like, Jesus, we didn't ever see that. We never gave you food. What are you talking about? And he says, when you did this for the least of these, you did this for me. When you served the least of these, you were really serving me. It's like the point of what following Jesus means is that we become cross-eyed, that we see the world like Jesus, that what it means to love our neighbors is to love the people who are struggling and hurting and go the extra mile to support them. You know who did this really, really well? The very earliest church, like the first people who gathered after Jesus died. You're about to read in Acts 2 this story about like what it was like to be at that early church, and it's incredible. The things that they did to love their neighbors, and it makes me think, like, is the church today like that? And the reason we're here at Webster, I told you I'd explain, is every time we leave Thrive or Refuge, we put this sign up by the door. Go out and be God's people in the world. The reason for that is because we believe that that's what following Jesus is about. It's not about all of our attendance at core groups or church. It is about going out and loving our neighbors and going and being God's people in the world, being the hands and feet of Jesus and loving our neighbors, even the ones we don't always want to love and the ones it's hardest to love. So tonight and today, you're going to kind of unpack those two stories, the story of the sheep and the goats and the first church. But you're also going to get a little bit practical and ask, like, where in our communities is there hurt and where can we be God's people in our world? I'm so excited. I'll see you soon.